shakalaka boom into the upside. We'll start with that one. That's 70. All right. You got a 2,000 lot spoofer down at 71. What is that? 51. Let's just see how she develops. Welcome to the party, pal. We got this nice plant-based energy drink. It's pretty good. 0 calorie. Okay. Tomorrow is a new game coming out. I kind of want to beat this. Wait, what? Oh. I kind of want to beat this game sooner than later. The 2000 spoofer's gone. System update. Okay. Interesting.
You lost, stranger. Wherever you're headed, it's back the way you came.
Wait, what? Why am I getting... Okay. What? Why is it glitching out? Okay, whatever that was. Hmm.
Time to fight. This one.
Okay. It's kind of like randomly moving a shit ton while staying static for a while. It's kind of a weird. Ah, the tweets. Because it just randomly, just jittered, and it froze my screen. I was like, wait, what? It's like, sometimes I mean, it's definitely not my computer, because I have 64 gigs in you know, it's like it can handle 24K movies at the same time, so it's definitely not on my end, but the data gets frozen. Yeah, like when it just jittered down a moment ago, it was like ES was loading just fine on Bookmap, but then it was like NQ was delayed. And I was like, wait, what? How can one be moving while the other's frozen? And then it like caught up or whatever. I was like, that's weird. Now it's just like stuck. It's like it was like moving a lot, and then now it's just like sometimes I'm like, is it frozen? Oh no, it's just not moving. It's just back to being in this region. Do, 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 do. That's weird. When in doubt, wait for something more definitive. Never hurts to wait. Tomorrow this new game comes out that looking to get Sorrows or whatever. Like a science fiction Cthulhu action shooter, third person shooter. Saros? It's like S-A-R-O-S. Looks pretty cool. Should be. It's on all platforms. And it has like modifiers that make things difficult or easy, and you get more points that way, kind of thing.
We've got company. Come on, lads.
So, and then if like there's an eclipse, the whole world changes and stuff, and then more evil shit comes out. Should be fun. It's kind of like, imagine if Iron Man was fighting like cosmic horrors. So you have like beam weapons and super particle guns and rifles and stuff, and you're fighting like cosmic horror entities that are the size of skyscrapers and stuff. Maybe, yeah, probably.
This must be Ignac's luggage. Nothing seems to be damaged. All right. Let's get it back to Delamel.
I hear I have you to thank for the return of my effects. What shall I call you, my good man?
Wyvern. Glad to make your acquaintance.
A formidable name indeed. Well, Wyvern, I appear to be in your debt. Redeem here tells me you wished for an audience. Is that all?
A few moments of your time should suffice, yes.
You're a peculiar fellow, Wyvern. All right, speak.
Master Wyvern was wondering if you could tell him about a certain single-edged sword you recently acquired.
Oh, a true work of art, that one. Karen drove me hard on the price, but I would have sold her Radim here to get my hands on that sword. It was made in the Outer Isles, far beyond the Twins, and is used exclusively by the practitioners of a unique school of swordsmanship. They believe no combat should ever exceed a single strike, and hone their blades to such perfection that none ever does. Each sword is made for that one perfect stroke, and for that stroke only. They crack upon a second blow. There's a brutal sort of beauty to it, really.
But how do they hone such an edge?
Fine question. Why, they use a whetstone, of course. Whetstones, rather. A whole array of them, ranging from the coarse to the fine. 10,000 licks with the sharpening stone, then 10,000 more. But it is the final stone which lends the blade its legendary sharpness. A mineral quite foreign to this great realm of ours. And that is the key. The secret ingredient. Wyvern, it occurs to me that my little lecture is hardly equal to services rendered. Take this, together with my regards. The very stone of which I spoke, far rarer among collectors than even the blade itself, and a far more fitting payment.
Thank you.
Pardon the intrusion, my lordship. However, it is long past time we prepared ourselves to depart.
So it is. I am locked in bitter competition with a rival collector of curiosities. I am one step ahead of the unscrupulous scoundrel. Hard at my heels.
It depends.
There are
I mean,
many other collectors out there.
there's like, it's all
Too
about the
many to count.
context of what
Only
happened
one
before
do I
and where
consider
it's been
my nemesis,
on the day, in the
Lord
week. You know,
Byron
how
Wellsfield.
weak are
And
the
a
sellers in
perennial
general, how
thorn in
strong
my
are the
side.
buyers, like that.
I can imagine.
So, you know,
Well,
and
Wyvern,
whether,
may our
you
paths
know,
cross again. Radim, we mustn't dawdle.
it normally has to be like 2 or 3 things lined up. And then I'm like, wait a
I
minute,
think
wait a
your
minute, wait a
lordship is
minute.
rather
Like,
taken with you,
it
Master
all, then,
Wyvern.
like, you know, I
Thank
just
you again
kind
for
of
your
like, it
assistance.
just perks my interest.
Coming, my lordship.
If it's just one thing with
right
the
there.
sellers and the buyers, I'm like, And then also if it's like sweeping a low and coming back in, or sweeping a high and coming back in,
Trust Uncle Byron
like
to
there's
find such an
other
interesting rival.
contextual things about it.
Now, let's see what Blackthorn makes of this whetstone, shall we?
There's never...
Here's your hide, as requested.
I worried you might never return. Quickly, let me see it. Oh, as supple as a maiden's cheek, yet as adamant as her virtue. This is everything I'd hoped for, and more. Clearly, my trust in you was not misplaced. You must be a hunter of considerable talent to have bested the beast with nary a scratch. Join me as my honored partner. With my means and your might, we shall be as wealthy as the merchant kings of Zemeckis.
I don't plan on making a habit of this. I'm busy enough as it is.
Very well. Though I believe fate had a hand in our meeting, it would be unbecoming of me to beg. Do not allow me to keep you from being about your business. Here, for the hide.
All right. Is my connection still going? Let's see. 1 second. Let's disconnect and reconnect. I'm getting a signal. Why is it not disconnecting? So there's like a problem with the rhythmic connection on Bulanox, it looks like. Let's reload it. See if it happens again. Ah, Okay. All right, let's hope it reloads with a better connection. Okay. So it was a Trump tweet, it looks like. A Trump tweet. Shooting the boats or something.
If we're going to do this, we'll need...
Clive, your timing is impeccable. It just so happens that right at this very moment, we're in need of someone with your talents.
And what talents would those be?
Why, your fearlessness and your skill with a blade.
I'm listening.
Well, as I'm sure you're aware, when these dark skies swept over the Republic, so too did a wave of chaos and confusion. Randalar has been particularly badly affected. Many of the capital's bearers have lost their masters, or taken the opportunity to flee them.
Such a
None remain
silly
free for long, of course.
situation,
Most
the
find themselves
economy
under the
and
protection of the fist before they
the
get far.
intertwining nature of it all.
The army too is in disarray and finds itself unable to provide for its new charges, which means it has been looking to sell.
And you've been looking to buy, to make sure these
And it's just weird that America essentially outsourced all their work to China to make them into an adversary. It's like, why did we do that again?
So where does my skill with a blade come in?
Though we may have the funds to buy these
Like,
bearers,
why would you
we have
fund
nowhere to
them
house
to
them.
be
So we've
like
been
something
searching
that
for a place where
tries
they
to
could be
usurp
resettled.
you?
Somewhere far from the prying eyes of those who would see them enslaved once more. And we believe we have found one. Cashlock. A small
Yeah.
hamlet hidden in a canyon. The place was abandoned a long time ago, but when the men moved out, the beasts moved in.
And so we seek the aid of a fearless swordsman to encourage them to look elsewhere. You'll help, won't you?
How could I refuse?
Yeah.
Excellent. Theo, if you wouldn't mind making arrangements for the transportation of our guests, as we discussed.
Of
Right,
course,
like gutting
leave
out the
everything with me.
infrastructure of the
Sounds like you'll have your
factories
work
in
cut out for
America
you.
to like
I will. We have an
get cheap
entire village to
labor, and
stock
they're only
furnish.
short-sighted is just
Residents
looking
and all.
at that immediate
Even if I begin right now, I'll be working
reward.
day and night. So I'd better get started. Try to clear the place out before the wagons roll in, won't you?
I'll do my best.
You will find a village in Chadra's Thread, past Lateney's Cleft. My man there will open the gate for you.
All right. Wish me luck.
I'm sure you won't need it.
Yeah, I don't know enough. I've been out of the country too long to make any like contributions about how it works. Everything I would say would be outdated.
Do you have any fresh water?
Now I just need to see about getting the... I want to know right away. Bad news. Good, actually. Something worth celebrating for a change. Only trouble is, the serving girl's still new to the job, so I can't leave her while I go and invite those I'd like to celebrate with.
There's
What exactly are you
another
celebrating? If
clearing
you
of the
don't mind me
Dom
asking.
sweep.
I've come by a particularly fine bottle of red. A Gotan 66, no less. Gotan Rouge is the only good thing to have ever come out of the Empire, and most wouldn't part with a 66 if you held a knife to their throats.
So I've heard.
Oh,
We got
so you know
15
then.
minutes till open,
Clearly
right?
you're a gentleman of taste.
And then like
A gentleman
news
who might
15 minutes
sympathize
after
in my
that, I
predicament,
guess.
Perhaps? Would you pass the good news to a few friends of mine? I'll give you a little something for your time, of course.
Sounds simple enough.
So you'll do it. Marvelous. Thank you.
We got
You won't
another
need to go
one.
far. All three of them should be right here in the market. There's Aldrich the porter, Milan the butcher, and Bolek, a guard over at the north gate. Three of the finest fellows in Boklad, if you ask me. Tell them to come to the tavern when they finish for the day. Stop by again when you let them know, and I'll give you your little something.
I'll be right back.
Now the Dom is repopulating. It like cleared and then it dropped instantly to the amount that it cleared. Like whatever algos were holding it up, just like let it go.
Pardon me, but would you... That well-notched steel and impressive physique. I have need of a sword.
Yeah, they're like
tonight.
holding it up
Yours
by
will
the
be
strings,
well
and
worth
it's
the
like
coin.
they're
Might you be
in
convinced to offer me the
attention
use of those
with
formidable
those
arms?
ladders. It's like
How exactly do you intend
it's like
to
a
use them?
marionette
Well,
string.
being something of a scholar of Zemeckis history, I wish to investigate the ruins near the city. And I require a rugged companion, lest I find myself waylaid by ne'er-do-wells or the beasts sent to roam the area. Should you accept, you will not only earn yourself material wealth, but partake of the true treasure that awaits us there. The rich and storied history of Zemeckis. Well, were you ever party to a finer proposition?
My arms are yours.
Wonderful. Then come. We must away.
But where are we going?
Along the old Zemeckis Road. And from there, onward to discovery. Quickly. There is not a moment to lose.
Wait. Good luck with your ne'er-do-wells.
Yo, what's up? Hopefully
sure he doesn't get himself
something
killed.
good to report.
I see you've been of some assistance to Eloise. Perhaps you can extend me the same kindness?
Perhaps. What would I be doing?
Finding someone.
Hopefully they don't try to ream
See,
you,
I've been having trouble with thieves.
as
And
I saw
despite the many
them
pains I've
with-
taken,
when I
can't
went
stop them
to
from rummaging
America.
through my packs. I was griping about my lot to a friend of mine a few days back, and he offered to track the culprits down. Now, Joseph's a sellsword, and a good one at that. But he's been gone
What's up?
days, and I'm beginning to fear the worst.
Any
Nice.
idea where his search for the thieves might have taken him?
Welcome to the party,
The
pal.
old Zemeckis Road, perhaps? He doubted they would be fool enough to linger here in Boklad. Joseph's lived a hard life. Made him grey long before his time. I just pray he hasn't been killed over a few sacks of grain.
I can't imagine there are too many grey-haired sellswords around. Hopefully someone will have seen him.
And whatever the lives of the people piloting it.
I've been asked to find Aldrich, the porter. I don't suppose that's you, is it?
That's me right enough. You need something delivered?
The innkeeper sent me. He said there's a cup of Gotan 66 with your name on it when you're done for the day.
A 66? Look at me. If he's just got hold of it now, it must have been in the crates he had me carry down from Sambrek.
From the Empire to Boklad. You must be a braver man than most. That's a treacherous route at the best of times.
Such is the porter's lot. There's not a patch of storm these feet haven't traipsed across. It's Oriflamme one day, then off to Canva the next. The farther you're willing to go, the fatter the purse. Which is why there's no shortage of competition for some of the longer routes. I'd say I've done enough for today to earn myself a cup of something tasty. Thanks for letting me know.
Yo.
Needs a porto when there's no real.
Please.
Are you Milan, the butcher?
That's me. What can I do for you?
The innkeeper's just had a special delivery. He thought you might like to join him for a cup of wine after you pack up for the day.
He knows me only too well. And I've got a ham here that will go handsomely with a nice drop.
Wine and ham to spare. Bockloud clearly isn't suffering then.
Comes with being the place everyone has to pass through to get to everywhere else. Those who travel the Crystal Road bring all manner of goods with them. We get meat from San Brec, herbs from Rosaria. Why, sometimes we even see curiosities from across the Narrow. Or rather we did, till not so long ago. These are lean times, and even Bockloud isn't the bustling trading post it once was. Still, there's no point dwelling on it. Better to live life while you can, eh? And on that note, it sounds like there's a cup of wine needing my attention.
You'll buy some. Won't you? Please. You've raised the price. I showed you my pass. What more do you want from me?
I'm looking for Bolek. I was told he'd be guarding the gate.
Well, you found him. You're not here to enlist, I take it?
The innkeeper sent me. He's just taken delivery of a rare vintage, a Gotan 66. He thought you might like a cup.
I've never said no to a goat hand. I'm not about to start now. Thanks for letting me know.
You must be a busy man.
No one's making for the refugee camps anymore. Not after what happened in the Dominion. Meaning, they linger here instead. I spend more of my days moving beggars along than I do manning these gates. What gets to me are the gangs that prey on the poor sods. As if they haven't suffered enough. Some days you can't help but wonder what the world's coming to. You know what? That wine's sounding better by the moment.
Well done.
Do you have any fresh water?
I spoke to your friends. They'll be along soon.
That's fantastic news. Thank you kindly.
That's no good.
While since we all sat down together. And the way I see it, that wine is as much theirs as it is my own.
How so?
Well, I wouldn't be serving anything but slops without Aldrich to go and fetch the good stuff for me. And then there's Milan, who always sends customers my way. And Bolek, an even-handed keeper of the peace, if ever there was one. Those three are the backbone of Bockloud. Lose any one of them, and the market would soon fall apart. And without the market, I wouldn't have a single customer. I'd say that's worth a bottle of 66, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it would be wise to just have it, like, if you're not getting off the grid with solar panels in tandem with that purchase, it doesn't make sense why you would just...
you had me carrying a bottle of Gotan 66. If I'd have known, I would have sold the thing and lived like a lord. I'll settle for a cup, though, if you're in a sharing mood.
A Gotan 66. Just as well I had something special of my own set aside.
A bottle between the four of us might not be enough to drown our sorrows, but it can't hurt.
Here they are, the free pillars of Boklad. Sit yourselves down, gentlemen. The woes of the world may be monstrous and many, but there's nothing like a few good friends to keep the misery at bay.
Never a truer word spoken.
Just don't get Chinese. Those things will trap you inside and the batteries will explode. Shitty walk. Yeah.
What I wouldn't give for a hot meal. Looks like this is the end of the road for us.
When are they gonna let us through? What do you want? I've no coin on me.
Just information. Has a sellsword passed through here? Grey hair.
Now you mention it, there was a young man with salt in his mane sneaking around out there a while back.
Which way did he go?
How am I supposed to know? Buggered off down the road, I expect. Now why don't you do the same and leave me be?
Why am I not surprised?
What's up? 10 seconds. Here we go. Again, it's like jittery and lagged. Not gonna do it. And then they're using Mythos. Ain't nobody got time for that. By the way, we got news in 15 minutes after open. Yep. Yeah, there's not much going on. Just before news, too. Doobie doobie doo. Yep. If it's nature stuff, it's okay, isn't it? Yeah, like Australia has all sorts of dangerous stuff. And the box jellyfish and doodle 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 doo. I was long from 2705 at the volume point and control retest, but the trailing is already took one off. But hits my trailing at 2710. I'm out. Dragon. Damn. Was it alive? All right. I'm still in it to win it too. We'll see. And we got that news in 5, just a reminder. Yep, I'm out of. I just peeled it off because I'm not trying to be in before news. That was good enough for me. We hit the volume imbalance on the in the value area high. So that was good enough. All right, so let's see where she goes with the news. I'm gonna go grab some coffee. Perfect. T.O. can say it. They should pay you commission for that. All right, back. For what? Boom, boom, boom. Less than a minute. Here we go. Well, he was probably going wild in the office. They just only got him for that. You know, Bobby. He's he's like king of the hill. Like, you know, Bobby, I need to get my dick sucked. Mm-hmm. But still not enough for me. Nice. You. It's just on a mission. Have a good one. Boom, 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 boom. Somebody peeled off 100 there. 91. It was somebody top ticking their take profit up there. Another 100. 134. Do-do-do-do-do-do. That was a nice little drop. Jitter. Another 90 lot here at 63. We're right around settlement at 83 too, so it's like previous day kind of level. Okay, we got 8 minutes till the hourly. If the hourly finishes strong, then you get to trigger some algos to like Hoover vac it because it gets the go ahead on an hourly time frame. That was one thing I always paid attention to on Bitcoin because they would battle it out for hourly candle closes because there was always a narrative that gets sculpted every 15 minutes and then every hourly too. Because there's people that trade off of that. Yeah, so they fight for like bearish and bullish narratives on those time frames because it'll trigger people's things to do stuff. That's why I always talk about the battle of the wick or whatever. Well, there's always a second attempt if the narrative is to slingshot these guys. You pulled back into 600 and then another 273. I just don't like that my data is like lagged today. It's like it stops and hangs up and then catches up to that later, which pisses me off. Just trying to induce somebody. Mm-hmm. There was like a buyer, right? Just now. That was 100 lot at 51. You just had a negative 300 delta and that pushed down even with the buyer. And the hourly close in 3 minutes. Yeah. There's no typical, but yeah, like they do get retested. Bam. Going for the gold. Why is my data so slow today? What is going on? So, negative 3K in seller aggression for the day. We're back at a just shy of the node for the day too. That was pretty nice in the push down. Not really seeing so much in candidates, but overall aggression was pretty strong in the seller's side of things. There was some 400 hit there and an 81 buyer at 975 and it bounced off it. Could get a little bit of an exhaustion bounce. Protecting your entry is not a bad thing. I'm in this long, trailing right now. I'm gonna just lock in something here. Okay. And yeah, just considering what to do. Getting some 40 lot ads on the buy side here. It's at 14. Essentially just in this range. Yeah, I cleared my long as it started to twitch below these 27.14 guys. Is there any other news, or I only followed the 15 minutes after? This is a pretty big area of value that we were in from yesterday, too. There's like 21,000 trades in this area. Yeah, it's like a pendulum that keeps gravitating back to it. Something will reveal itself. Just gotta wait. That was a 371 sell side pullback. No candidates, just a bunch of sellers. 153 followed by 371. We basically just came shy of like this 100 lot at 32 that bought on the way down. So the narrative is buyer weakness until otherwise. What's CS doing? Let's zoom in a little bit. Nice. Why cool? So we pushed up into 300 in buy side. And yeah, we're just like kind of gravitating to those previous zones of like 20,000, 21,000, and nearly 20,000 trades in this area. So it's like a value area. If it breaks it, then it's downside. If it's up above it, it's upside, but looks like it's continuation to the downside. I took the break of the volume point of control just off that 316 push up in buyers. Wasn't convinced of it though, but I'm protecting my entry at 712. Here goes to 712. I'm out. I'm not really trying to stay in like this chop. I just want aggression to break this node to the downside right now. But if it spikes up, I'm out. Not trying to give back anything. Stay positive. That's one word in my Rolodex. And peeling one if it breaks. What is that? Oh, I peeled one off. Stop at break even. Trailing. All right. This will be a nice day on those accounts. All right. Cool beans. Well, it's coming back to my... As long as it doesn't come back to 712 or it's 2712. Oh yeah, that's right. We're at 27K and VWAP on ATAS, but and there's both sides. Like there's not really much clear read, so I wasn't like convinced of it at all. I already had made some, so I was willing to give it back, but yeah, now it's paying. But it was also like the narrative of how violent it like rejected, and then it was coming back on a retest, and I was saying exhaustion bounce, and exhaustion means it's still in control of the seller, so I'm like, it's gonna keep going ideally as a C wave, so I want to get in at what point, and and so I was looking to those previous day nodes as guidance with the 21,000 trades, and then when we came back into that 21,000 range, I was like, all right, are we fading this? All right, so we're 120 ticks on this runner. What do I want to do to keep this in the game? Yeah. It's probably a stop hit, but yeah. It's going to hit my trailing. And ooh. Oh, hit my trailing. You're right about where I am. I'm at 836. I would have had more if I just flattened, but whatever. In ATM, we trust. Yeah. Well, they have Yeah, they have also like relatively ES was holding this like 7157 region while NQ was like trying to test the lows and ES wasn't having it. If I was more like looking at that, I could have seen the divergence. Yeah. We got a 500 lot. Oh, never mind. They moved it before I could even say. All right. Check out that ask on that candle. It's generally the sell stops if it's like that. Or a breakout trader or two, you know, like it's contextual, but you just see it and recognize for what it is. It's either somebody liquidated or trapped. Yep. Well, the liquidation, the margin call is the market stop. So it would be the person that doesn't want to buy the top that's like, man, and it's like, you know, that's their account blown. This is just a proverbial idiot box right now. I have one more account I can trade, but I'm really waiting for something before I hit the button on that. I'm not gonna be in the chop. That Saros game. Ooh, that's nice. The Saros game comes out tonight. I wonder if I could buy a digital copy at midnight. We'll see. So there's like people jockeying positions up and above. Yeah, this is like straight up range trading. Yep. Yep. Absorbing it, yeah. But also, if you look at how it shifts away from that, like if you look at the volume where it went up and generated at 23 and then shifts away, it's like Pac-Man eating a pellet and then it goes a different direction to eat the other pellet, you know. Yeah, and it just generates both sides and you're like, what's going on? And that's when it's just like if you don't get a clear read, you like I literally have zero interest to press the button. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And the volume point of control. So it's like, what? Yeah. Yeah, it's like a huge there was times in Bitcoin's days where it would like surge up to a certain price, like 64K, let's just pick a number, and then it will just stay there for a week. And you're like, what the hell? Like it would surge up in 10 minutes and then stay there for a week. So I'm used to like price just gravitating somewhere and just not moving. And that's what got me into the liquidity and everything because you could micro scalp like 100x traders liquidation levels, you know, and like basically, you know, ride the liquidations squeeze in one direction or the other as they get liquidated. And then you could trim 25%, stop at break even, and then you just like let it ride. And eventually one time it will go up some more or whatever. And you're like, all right, nice. At least I got in there. And since it was 24/7, you'd just be like, you don't know when that is. So you just like position when it occurs. Well, they held it in a range because leveraged longs, like there was times where longs using leverage, if you were in a long, they charged you. So the more they held it in an uptrend, the more they get off of your long because you're using their leverage. So that's one reason why they would keep it there too. Like, and then if you're in a short, they'll pay you to have a short in a counter trend thing. And then like some people would just make money keeping their shorts open. So there's like multiple ways to skin the cat from their end and from the customer's end. And I knew this one guy who like DCA'd into a short, but he had so much ammunition that he would just get paid off of the the leverage of that he's using from them. And then he would average his entry and then get out. and then do it again. So he knew he could always get out break even, and then he could just get paid passively. I was like, I guess that's one way to do it. Because he would use like, 1% of his ammo, but he would like, if it surged up, he could just use like 20% more and then be right where right where he added the 20%. And then as soon as it burps back down, he's like, I'm out. Say what? Have you heard this song? I'm going to show you this song. It's going to make you crack up. It's called Fuck Shit Stack. Oh man, nice. You take some shit and you throw it on the wall and you. I like Reggie Watts. Where my Germans at? I liked his TED talk because he would like change his voice. And people were like, what the hell's going on? Yeah, he's really talented. Like he could do whatever the fuck he wants, but he chose to make comedic stuff, And then I got obsessed with him back in the day, and like every one of his sets was different. Like he never had like, I mean, he had some running things, but like there was one where he pretended he was like from Texas the whole time, and he had a whole backstory, and he was just like telling these stories that aren't funny at all, but they have no ending, and he just talks off into like that leads you down a cul-de-sac and just leaves you there, and he goes anyway, and then he goes to the next story and everyone just starts laughing because it's like, wait, is he being like, people that didn't know who he was were like what the because it's not, because he does it with utter confidence, like he doesn't break his he doesn't get flustered at all, or he'll like play with the mic and like overly play with it where it's like awkward for the person watching him, but he's not awkward. He knows exactly what he's doing. It's like very scripted in his own mind. Yeah, he was a rich. Nice. Yeah, that was a nice test bounce off of VWAP. ES looks like it wants to clear the 7170 resting order up there from when we dropped down. Boom, 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 boom. He did. Oh, that sucks. Nice. Capcom. No, I heard good things. I just never watched it. Yeah, that's one of those weird things where I realize now I've been here long enough. I'm like, wait, I just watched all of Solo Leveling with no subtitles. Like, what? You know, like, I didn't even think about it. You know, like, it's there's so like every anime has its own like Rolodex of words that you have to kind of get used to, but they use it over and over and over and over, and then eventually you're like, okay, that's that. Like Death Note always says Shinzo Mahi all the time, so I learned heart attack real quick. So I'm like, okay, I'm learning words. There's a 200 lot buyer here and a 98 at 43 that just entered on that pullback, and another 200. And another 173 at 42. What? Where are they wanting to go? Are they going to get like, well, they're getting, oh, another 138 at 46. These are definitely buyers, not liquidations of shorts, because they're doing it after the push up. Another 200. What? So that's what you would typically think as like an iceberg, because they tried to like sneak it in a bunch of like slices. From where? When? But those were after, like a liquidation will generally occur on the first hit up. So we already went up to 55 and they populated after the fact. So that's not a short. Well, I'm doing my usual fade of these guys, so I'm in a short, but I'm just putting my stop at break even and just letting it do its thing. This is the buyer absorption play. Yeah. It's an I mean, guess you could call it buyer exhaustion, but yeah, because they were in they were in the lead. So I'm just trailing this now. I'm gonna lock in like 300. If it pops up, I'm out. Yeah, and this was what I was waiting for. This is one of those undeniables. Like, I don't care what I think it might do. I was like, I saw it go beneath that 42 guy. I'm in at 42. It's like there's no ifs, ands, or buts, and I'm now got 320. That was good. In like 1 minute. Yep. Mm-hmm. That's the most. I'll just post it in the chat so people see. But yeah, I've seen it enough times where if it goes back on their entry, that at least I can snag like 20 points or something. And then maybe they're right. And then maybe they're right on a weekly time frame. So like if you see like a lot of times, if you see like I've seen iceberged 300 lots and 500 lots, and you're like, whoa, some big players like getting in or out here. What the? And then like if you go back to quote me when those things happen, it's always like a week later or 2 weeks later that person is right. So whether or not that day it goes up, you know, or not, they have enough liquidity that it doesn't matter. They're looking at it on a totally different swing scale. And so I look at that when I see those guys, I'm like, I guess we're going down in a week, like if it's a bunch of sellers or whatever. And then if it's like a bunch of buyers, I'm like, okay, maybe we're going up to 27.5 or something. Like, but it's not quite that number. But if these characters were all like 300 lots, I would be more saying like, yeah, we could be getting accepted here and going even more skyward. But it's like it might pull back in the meantime, but they're just happy to get in there. So there's all this like footprint narrative stuff you observe over time, and it's just like you see different things occur as a result of that. So it's just like there's no like usually, it's always like in the context of what came before. So it's kind of, yeah. And then you can contextualize it because you've experienced it. So you're like, well, we had this 7K push down, so that delta is still in fresh and resident memory. So that means there's this seller like absorption or whatever. Like there's this whole like thing that builds into the day you're in. So it's not like, oh, well, that means the buyers are going to do this. It's like there's no always. But fair enough. The Yeah, well, obviously, like that's why the whole like buyer, like I play the opposite side. Like I see a top of a range and a bunch of buyers like that. I'm just like, I don't even think about it. I'm just like, well, if it goes below 42, I'm shorting. I don't care what anything is up above. I'm just seeing these guys get absorbed, so I'm taking it, like, and it just becomes like second nature. I don't know. That's, and then maybe I'm wrong, and you know, but it's like more often than not, I'm not. At least for that free 20 points or whatever. And it's like a 1 minute trade, so you'll know like a minute after hitting the button whether you're wrong. But yeah, like the way it's coming up here, like you could get acceptance too, but I just don't play the same sides because I look at it like a bunch of fat people getting in an elevator and the cable's gonna snap. I'm like, I don't want to be. I'm like, it says there's a capacity to this thing. So what floor are you guys going? Okay, I'm just taking the stairs. But those guys had a lot of conviction. So those. Yeah, like overall on the session, the delta's negative and they haven't been able to push lower. So the sellers are getting absorbed on a bigger narrative here. Because you had negative 2K in seller delta, and it's like we're not making lower lows. If you're not making lower lows, you're gonna make higher highs. cannot make a lower low, then you make a higher high. Yeah, have a good one. Yeah. Yeah, have a good one. Take care. Hope your son's thing goes all right. So now you're, you had the stop loss hunt after the buyers, and then those guys can absorb all of that hit. Like you didn't hit nearly any sellers with that push down, and then it pulled up into like 471 in buyers. So they did like a stop hunt, but those guys weren't phased at all. So the buyer strength is looking strong by coming above these guys now. I've already made my money. I'm staying frugal with this. I'm not trying to chase anything. So 320. 320 is enough for me. It's also like putting in qualifying days is a thing. So, it's like there's no you got to look at this thing on like a 30-day time frame. Like there's one day's not it's like not a big deal to you don't have to like hit home runs every single time. That's the thing that gets people because they're like chasing some target that they've conjured up as like they must make this or else. And then that chasing kind of takes lower quality setups. And then you end up like, giving back more than you were hoping for. But like that trade for me was like that was A plus because it was a no brainer. I didn't think. I just circled the guys. I observed it. It was very cold, and then it came below, and I was like, okay, this is what you were waiting for. Go. And it wasn't like there was no hesitation. I said I had one more account to trade, and it was a clean setup. And that's the example of where you can be wrong and right. So it's like on a on a grander narrative, like it's back where it started. But does that matter if you lock it in? No, it doesn't matter at all. All it matters is like when you hit the button and did it go away from your entry when you said it would. Yeah, it did pull up on 471. There was a lot of people that probably were like getting stopped on a trailing short there. So again, the larger narrative, like we bounced off we're just shy of the volume point of control. It's 27K. So ES is also holding its node. So we're just kind of trading on the yesterday node and today's established node. Probably waiting for Friday. What's up with Friday's news? Let's see. Not really. Core retail. That's Canada. UM sent. Consumer sentiment, not really much of anything. Okay. Yeah, we might be going to the high. There's nothing wrong with that. They're just, you know, he's just busting your balls. I think a lot of people started doing that recently, but that's cool. It's better to have more dialogue. It's not like one person needs to dominate the conversation. Yeah. No, there's some people when I'm doing office work, they're like playing some music or something. And like thankfully these really nice headphones, I have noise cancellation, so I just cancel everything out because it's really annoying. Yeah, I got those too, but they fall out of my ear. Like they don't work for me, like in size wise. But I got the hooks, but it's just like I use them for running or when I'm on my board because I don't want to mess these up. Yeah, I got these hooks to keep them in because they'll fall out otherwise. But I got AirPod. Yeah, I do, but it still comes out. Yeah, I never really got into the modding aspect. Like I've always been into headphones because I produced music, so I just like try my sister gave it to me as a birthday gift and I was like, "Oh, cool. I'll use it for running or something, working out or whatever." But it was like I didn't like that like the charge wears off pretty quick. Like it's like 2 hours or something. Like I'm always like listening to it and then I realize I got to put it in the case, but then the case has like 10% and then I'm like, "Man," and then when I go to put it in my ear, it doesn't recognize or pair because it's out of power. So I had like more that's why I got this Bluetooth headset cuz I was like I want something with more battery life. Like these have 20 hours at full volume. It's just like they're so nice that you can't wear them like when you're doing anything super physical. Like jogging is one thing, but if it's raining or something or I'm on my skateboard, I don't want to mess them up. But these are probably the best headphones I've ever had. If you're into headphones. Vacuum tube, yeah. It's like really, really deep audio quality. Here. I wish there was a way to like demonstrate, but there's all these reviews you can read about it. That was one of those things where the what do you call it? Where the YouTube targeted ads actually targeted the right person. I was like I saw that ad in a YouTube thing and I was like, this is for me. I'm sold. Like it was like I didn't hesitate to click the visit advertiser and then just like bookmark it and then buy it. Like I was just like, all right, more of this, please. Oh yeah, they're super comfy. So we're retesting the highs, huh? Yeah, I have some Behringer like ones that won like a award and stuff, and they beat those. And the fact that it has like different modes that like you can cancel out sound, or yeah, the bass and everything's super full and surrounding in this weird like way that I've never experienced before. So yeah, they put their credentials to the test and it works. They had like a guarantee, like if 30 days, if you're not satisfied, they'll just give it your money back. Well, well, well. And this was, yeah. If they came back to that 45, damn. That was a nice long. It's recovered all of the delta for the day. So we went down into 3K land of the delta at the value area low at 971, double bottom off of that. You had a bunch of buyers buy at 27.4. I took the initial fade short. The shorts didn't step up. Then they got absorbed at the volume point of control. Push up into 471 buy side, acceptance of the buyers, and the rest is history. So that was cool. And we're approaching midnight, my time. And we're back at settlement was at 83, so we've already cleared settlement. I'm going to call it here and try to find out how I can download that Saros game, because I want to play that. So I will catch you guys tomorrow.